Team rosters for the upcoming Four Nation FaceOff hockey tournament will be revealed in just under 30 days. We're going through a series here projecting our picks for Team Canada, USA, Sweden, and Finland. We've already done Team Canada. Today we look at the Americans and project who will be on the roster of Team USA, and that's coming up next. So welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. As I mentioned today, as I said, we're looking at projecting out the roster for Team USA. Now, I went through this exercise with the roster projections back in the offseason as well, with an early look ahead. Of course, we knew in the summertime, teams had confirmed their first 6 players that were confirmed to be on the team, with the rest of the players due. I believe it's December 2nd is when all the rest of the team will be revealed and confirmed, because we went through Team Canada in the past. I think that was 2 days ago we did that one. We'll look at Team USA here today, and then later in the next few days we'll do the Swedes and the Finns. So let's start with the goaltenders. I think this is going to be an easy choice for the Americans. They have probably the deepest goaltending in the tournament. I know for Canada it's probably one of the weaker parts of the roster, but if the team plays in front of them like they're capable of, it may not be as big of a story, but we'll see. It could be. For Team USA, the 3 goaltenders that I'm projecting are going to be Connor Hellebuyck. Hellebuck's obviously one of the top goalies in the game, Vezina Trophy winner, very consistent, absolutely no-brainer on this team. Jake Ottinger and Jeremy Swayman will be your number 2 and 3. I don't know who will be kind of considered 2 and who will be considered 3. They're both young, up-and-coming goaltenders. Ottinger does have a bit more of a bigger body of work, more games played, but at the end of the day, I think and feel that it's a no-brainer that Hellebuyck will likely get the start in Game 1, and as long as he plays well, he'll likely ride out the tournament. I'm not sure that we'll see the other 2 goalies play. Maybe they give one of them a game. It's hard to say, but being a short tournament, I think at most they're probably only going to play four games, because it's a round robin. You're going to play the other 3 teams, and then there's a championship game for the top teams. So it's really, it's not that long of a tournament. It's not as long as the Olympics, nowhere near the World Championships. You need players that are playing hot and can kind of run with it. So I predict Hellebuyck will be the starter. Ottinger and Swayman will be on the team. If it wasn't for his injury and not playing yet this year, I think Thatcher Demko would have had a really good chance of being on this team, probably as Hellebuck's number 2. And then either Ottinger or Swayman probably would have been left off. Looking at the season so far, I think it's fair to say that with Swayman's contract holdout and how the Bruins have played, that Ottinger probably would get the nod over Swayman right now. So Demko probably would have been the backup or number 2 on this team had he not been hurt and was playing to his normal standards. But considering he hasn't played yet this year and the injury is uncertain, I would think that the Canucks probably would prefer he not be on this team, but that's obviously selfish reasons. But, from Team USA's perspective, I would think that they're going to go with the healthier goalie. So Hellebuyck, Ottinger, Swayman, not much debate. They're deep in goal and will be, in very, very good hands no matter who they play. But I believe Hellebuyck will get a chance to run with it. Now, on the blue line, we already had 3 defensemen confirmed, and we had 3 forwards confirmed when they confirmed their top 6 players in the offseason. So, of course, on the blue line, we got Quinn Hughes, Charlie McAvoy, and Adam Fox already confirmed on this team. I don't think there's any doubt that they, even based on how this season has started, they probably would still be on this team. I don't think there's any doubt about that. They've got a combination there of different levels of experience, different skill sets, different size. I think that's a good move. Rounding out the D-corps for me is you're going to put Jacob Slavin, arguably the top defensive defenseman, or one of them, if not the best in the NHL. It will round out your top 4. So I think you're probably going to pair Hughes and McAvoy together and then put Slavin with Fox. At least that's what I would think based on the early projections, what it's looking like right now. I don't think there's a big debate over Slavin. I wouldn't think. Let me know in the comments what you think. Is that a controversial pick? Do you think that's a slam dunk? I think it is, but let me know. And then your third pair, I think they're going to go with a younger pair for the future. Now, there's lots of options here. You've got guys like, John Carlson. You've got guys like Jacob Trouba. You've got Brett Pesce. You've got Zach Werenski. But in all honesty, you also, I think, and teams I hope look at this and be like, not only are we preparing for this tournament, but in a year later, you've got the Olympics. And now that this is going to be, these Four Nation or World Cup type tournaments, and then you've got the Olympics are going to be in regular rotation here and back in pro hockey with NHL players, going forward. You have to look to the future. I think they're going with a young third pair with Brock Faber and Jake Sanderson. They complement each other extremely well. You got a lefty and a righty. Terrific, young, very smart defenseman. I know for Sanderson, he plays a lot on the PK with Ottawa as well. So I think he can bring that element. Terrific skater, really smart, great vision. And then I think you're going to have either guys like Werenski or Pesce be your extras. I'm not sure. I think they're only allowed, I think it's 7 that they're going to be putting on the roster, so I'm not sure if they go with Pesce or Werenski. I would think Pesce might get the nod. You got to remember, the GM is picking this team as Bill Guerin as the GM, Tom Fitzgerald and Chris Drury are your assistant GM. So they're all going to have a little bit of their own agenda and obviously be confident, in their own players. So I suspect Pesce might get an edge because of Fitzgerald's input. Not that he's not deserving. He's got, a great career. He's got good history with the Team USA hockey program in the past, and I think he's a good choice no matter what. But he might get the edge over Werenski in that case. A guy like John Carlson's got tons of experience, but I think they need to look more into the future and let the younger team go to this tournament. In my opinion, and with Faber, I think Guerin's going to love him and make sure he's on this team as well. In the forward group, we already know that you have Austin Matthews and Jack Eichel as your top 2 centermen, and we know that Matthew Tkachuk will be one of your wingers playing on your top 2 lines. Those players have already been confirmed, but I think I'll go through the centers. I think Matthews and Eichel, we know at 1-2. I think 3 and 4 are going to be Jack Hughes and Dylan Larkin. Now, there's different options you could put there. I think Vincent Trocheck could be in that conversation. And there's some centermen that could play on the wing, and those guys could as well. But I think your 4 centers will be Matthews, Eichel, Hughes, and Larkin. And how I see the lines playing out, with Matthews, I'm putting Matthew Tkachuk and Jake Gensel. I think those will complement him extremely well. Obviously Matthew Tkachuk's going to bring that tenacity and that, net front presence and, all the intangibles and just get under the skin of the other team and how he likes to play. And Jake Gensel's super smart, high hockey IQ. He's used to playing with high-end talent like Sidney Crosby and the guys in Tampa. I think he would complement them extremely well. So I think that could be one of your top 2 lines. I have Jack Eichel playing with Brady Tkachuk and Kyle Connor. Again, you've got the Tkachuk tenacity, physicality, net front presence, the size and strength, all that stuff that they bring that Brady can do on the second line. Whereas Eichel, obviously, a great skater, obviously great vision, all the things that he brings to the table. And you get Kyle Connor, the sniper. I mean, Tkachuk's perfectly capable of scoring. He's on pace, a lot between last year and this year. He looks like he's going to have a bunch of 40-goal seasons under his belt before his career is done. So there's no doubt he can put it in, but different kind of goals. Like the Tkachuk guys, both score a lot around the net. Your dirty goals, your net front goals, they're a little bit different style, whereas Connor can be more of a sniper. And, obviously Eichel, I think, would complement those 2 guys as their centermen very, very well. Next, I'm going to put Cole Caulfield with Jack Hughes, reunite them from their days in the United States program, and I'm going to put a veteran on the left side on Chris Kreider. I debated if, I like Kreider. He's 7 goals in the season. I think Drury's influence will probably get him on this team. I thought maybe maybe they could also go with a guy like Matt Boldy here as well. The only problem is I think your 4th line, with Larkin, I'm going to put JT Miller and Matt Boldy on the 4th line with Larkin. And I just think that those 2 guys are a little bit more capable of playing what you need. And you're a little bit more responsible, a little bit more two-way game. Is where I think Kreider can offer some size and speed and strength to go along with the creativity, the skill of those 2, Hughes and Caulfield. Now, there's going to be some forwards on no matter if my projections are right or not, there's going to be some really good forwards left off this team. Now, as far as the extra body, I got it narrowed down to either Vinny Trocheck or Brock Besser. depends on what you think you want. There's not going to be any shortage of goal scoring ability, so it's difficult to say. But even with that, that still means that I'm not able to find a spot for Tage Thompson, for Clayton Keller, and for Jason Robertson. I know a lot of people have Robertson penciled in on this team. I'm not 100% sure that if I'm Team USA's brass that I'm doing that. I like Thompson's game a lot. I've watched him play the last number of years in Dallas, especially in the playoffs, and he's been a key contributor. But if you look 2 years ago, he was just shy of 110 points. Last year, he was down to about 80. This year, his pace so far early in the season puts him on pace for like closer to 70. So I'm not saying he's peaked and he's washed up because he's still on the younger side of his career, but he hasn't. That 100-point season was a one-off. In the last year and this year, he's not playing anywhere near that pace. So, not saying that he has to be a 100-point player to be on this team either. Obviously, you want to look at who he's going to complement, and whatnot. But meanwhile, you've got Cole Caulfield near the top of the NHL in scoring for goals. I think I'd have a really tough time leaving him off this team, especially, looking at what he accomplished when he was younger with Jack Hughes. He played with Jack a lot in the U.S. national team program, and they were dynamite together. So why not have a chance to reunite them and see if the magic that they're each doing on their separate NHL clubs right now can get back together. Pair a veteran with them like Kreider, and maybe we have a good line. Or, like I said, you could go with Boldy over there. I think, with Guerin being the GM, I think he's going to get Faber and Boldy on this team. I really do. But really, like Thompson, Keller, and Robertson, I probably would have projected them all at some point to be on this team. It's how do you make room for them? You're going to leave off. You're leaving off Chris Kreider, or you're leaving off Jake Gensel, or you're leaving off JT Miller. Like, you need a combination of players. Like, not all players can play a more of a bottom six role, right? Not everybody's as responsible defensively. Not everybody's as good on faceoffs. Not everybody can kill penalties. You want high-end talent. You want the best players, but you need guys that can do that. And that's just tough with some of these guys that just don't meet all of that criteria. Keller is probably out of the three. Thompson's ability to shoot the puck and his size, but he's been inconsistent for me. And like I said, with Robertson, just looking at his production, how it's kind of tailed off the last couple of years, I just maybe some other guys have been, going stronger. Like I said, it's a really, really short tournament. You need to pick the players that are hot and can ride a hot streak and hopefully ride it to a gold medal. And like with right now, the way Caulfield's playing, how can you not put him on this team? Like looking at some teams that had some different writers and hockey personalities that have projected the roster, I've seen some that had Robertson on and Caulfield off. And I'm like, I don't know if I can do that with the way things are going right now. So let me know what you think down in the comments. Who would you put on Team USA for the upcoming Four Nations face-off? Of course, a lot of these guys, especially if things go well for them, they play well, they'll likely have a very similar looking roster for the 2026 Olympics coming up the year after. So it's almost like it's a chance to get international hockey experience under your belt at this level for many of them the first time. And it's also going to be a major Olympic audition. So let me know what you think down in the comments, and who would you put on this team, and we'll discuss further. If you're new to the channel, of course, make sure you subscribe and stick around. We'll keep you up to date with all the news, rumors, and analysis of all 32 NHL teams. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.